What is up, Obscure Mic people? It's Bark coming at you with potentially one of the best, absolute, greatest, wonderful, most bestest little Caesar's cheesy effing mic I've ever maybe found. Did any of that make sense? I just got off of a video for Obscure Tech. By the way, if you don't subscribe, I'm going to say that from now on. If you don't subscribe, because Obscure Tech mics, if you don't subscribe to Obscure Tech, do me a favor. Go over and subscribe real quick. It's like 440 subscribers. I've got some videos that have pushed some decent numbers for a small channel, but with your help, I could push harder. Anyways, yeah, I just did a mystery box thing, an electronics mystery box that I'll upload today along with this video. So go check that out because I was a little angry. Anyways, I'm here today with a super cool, freaking obscure microphone, and it is the Technica U873R. Is that right? The U873R. Yes, the U873R, a handheld hypercardioid condenser microphone that's freaking just incredibly cool. It has a super flat frequency response. It is super tiny. These are the specs that came on the sheet if you want to pause and check that out. I got this for $50 on, I want to say, eBay. And the seller, hats off to them because they sent me the bag, all the documentation, every single bit. There's a silica gel pack in here. From what I can tell, this little thing is brand new. And I am super, super happy with the seller that hooked me up with this because A, it's awesome. B, it'll make a great travel mic. Even the clip, everything looks brand freaking new. I'm going to take the windscreen off so I can give you a size comparison here. We'll use this Maono microphone and give you a little size comparison here. Here's the Technica right beside the Maono. And this is one tiny mic. Tiny, but powerful. It has a 10 decibel pad switch and a high pass roll off. It's got two switches on this tiny little thing. It's got 3 pins there. It's hypercardioid. It's like, this thing is so freaking cool. It is so cool. This is the kind of shit I live for. Absolutely love this. Now, I am talking on the SM58, but I do also have another electric condenser microphone we're going to hook up before I go full bore into the testing on this. But I also want to take this moment here to kind of talk about how underrated electric condenser microphones are. Because unlike a large diaphragm condenser, one, these can still sound great. So can a large diaphragm. But the off-axis rejection, you don't have to get a ton of room noise just because it's a condenser. A small diaphragm condenser is going to be less sensitive to everything around it, typically, than a large diaphragm condenser. So, I mean, when it comes to podcasting and stuff like that, you don't have to use a dynamic. You can get some damn good results, even in untreated rooms, from small electric condensers. What happened with the word electric is Amazon and all those cheap BM800s and all that shit kind of ruined the term electric condenser because, again, the Lewitt LCT240 Pro is an electric condenser microphone. There are other electric condenser microphones that sound really freaking good. I've got an old Sony handheld that sounds fantastic in my opinion. I've got an Avlex that hasn't been on the channel yet that sounds fantastic in my opinion. There's a bunch of electric condenser microphones that, if done right, sound great. And you're going to hear this one in just a second. But first, I'm going to hook up this so you can get a good electric condenser. And if you think like, oh no, Mark, look how large that is. In the back of this, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a tiny capsule in a large bezel. And when I say tiny, I mean tiny. I think it's like a 15 or 16 millimeter capsule that's in this thing. Now, again, not a big deal because this thing sounds fantastic for what it is. Let me show you. This is the LCT240 Pro from Lewitt. tiny, tiny, tiny capsule in there, but this thing sounds fantastic anyways. It's one of the cleanest sounding mics for $100 or under that I've ever heard. And it's a little electric condenser microphone, just in a big body. Sounds great. Looks great. Let's switch over to the Audio Technica. Now we're on the Audio Technica U873R, and I have to say, I absolutely love the warmth of this microphone. This thing sounds almost as clear and precise as the LCT 240 Pro, but you're getting a lot more warmth. This is awesome. Like, this microphone is seriously kind of a marvel for being this size, this cheap, and it sounds this good. I like it. It's been a long time since I've liked a darker or bassier mic or more of a flat sounding microphone, but this one, this kind of takes the cake. Let's switch over to the SM58 just so you have that sound comparison real quick. SM58, after hearing the U873R, yeah, there's a bit of a difference. This is a little woollier for sure, but depending on what sound you like if you want a little more warmth, SM58 is really well balanced. Really, really well balanced. But man, if you just want a little more warmth with a little more of that full wall of sound thing going on, this is kind of awesome. Let's play with the filters, and then I'll go ahead and do all the tests and all that good stuff. And but yeah, this was $50. I can't find one now for under like $160, $175. There is also another version of this. It's called the AT873R. It is the same exact microphone without the filters, without the switches, bitches. Let's do the high pass roll off first. So this is the microphone with the high pass on, and takes a little bit of that woolliness away, but it still sounds really excellent in my opinion. Let's go ahead and flip back to the woolly mammoth mode. Back on the woolly mammoth mode. Man, that's not a super aggressive roll off either. It's pretty solid. Let's do the 10 decibel pad. Now I've got the 10 decibel pad on, so we're taking about 10 dB off of it there. This is what that sounds like. Now we've got the 10 decibel pad back off. Look at this. Bob Barker. My last name is Barker. That's why I'm called Bark. But now I feel like a true Bob Barker. If you don't want a microphone on camera, like maybe we lapel this, I don't know. But I could hold this in front of my black shirt. And unless there was, without the tool logo there, you would never know that I'm holding a microphone. Now, I'm sure the plosives and stuff is going to be bad, but we're going to do it anyways. Ready? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. I've got a windscreen. Windscreen. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pineapple pizza. It helped, but it was like in the most minimal way of all time. You're going to want to use this off axis or get a bigger windscreen on it for sure. I like the added bit of warmth that the windscreen provides and smooths out the top a little bit. So even this thin little windscreen, it does help out a good bit. Now let's get right on top of the microphone so you can hear what the proximity effect of the 873R, U873R, what it sounds like when I'm right on top of this. This is what it sounds like. Hypercardioid. Now we're going to do the off-axis test. I'm going to go into the microphone, and now we're going to go 90 degrees off-axis rejection. Oh, hell yeah. 180 degrees off-axis rejection, 90 degrees off-axis, and back around to the front of the microphone. I wanted to take the grill off so you could see what this looks like. It's got a little foamy on it that does not come off. Wow, that even the plosives there. So yeah, you could go even smaller with this thing technically. Like no windscreen. Look at that. So tiny. This thing's a banger, bro. This thing is a banger. Like, this is one of my favorite sounding handheld microphones, probably in my whole collection. And it is a tiny little microphone. Tiny. Even that roll off still sounds freaking great with the roll off switch enabled. It still is a nice, even, like, I don't mind the low end at all with that filter on, but I definitely like it even more with the filter off. So on the BB-SAR, listen, I don't know if you can find this thing anywhere. They're out there, but not for the $50 I paid. I got really lucky, and considering this thing is basically like brand freaking new, I feel extremely lucky to have nailed this thing. That's what she said. At the 160 to 175 that I've seen this thing floating around for, if you need a travel mic especially, I still think this thing is a solid 8, a very strong buy. For the $50 I paid for it, I think it's a 10. Like, if you can find this thing for under $100, definitely a 10 in my opinion. I could throw this in any carry bag in my collection and just travel. And as long as I have an interface or something, I have a Maono cord for a condenser, XLR to USB. You remember that? I'll link it somewhere. I'll link it in the description. That cord and this on the go, good to go. I love small things. I really love all the small things. Audio Technica, great job on this one. I don't know if it's still in production. I don't think it is, but it should be because it's sweet. Obscure Mics. Peace out.